Members deemed to be in practice. Every member of the institute is entitled to designate himself as a chartered accountant. There are two classes of members, those who are in practice and those who are otherwise occupied. In section 2, subsection 2 of the Act, the term deemed to be in practice has been defined as follows. A member of the institute shall be deemed to be in practice when individually or in partnership with chartered accountants in practice or in partnership with members of such other recognized profession as may be prescribed, he, in consideration of remuneration received or to be received, engages himself in the practice of accountancy or offers to perform or performs a service involving the auditing or verification of financial transactions, books, accounts or records, or the preparation, verification of certification of financial accounting and related statements, or holds himself out to the public as an accountant, or renders professional services or assistance in or about matters of principle or detail relating to accounting procedure or the recording, presentation or certification of financial facts or data, or render such other services as in the opinion of the council are or may be rendered by a chartered accountant in practice, and the words to be in practice with the grammatical variations and cognate expressions shall be construed accordingly. Explanation: an associate or a fellow of the institute who is a salaried employee of a chartered accountant in practice, or a firm of such chartered accountants, or firm consisting of one or more of chartered accountants, and members of any other professional body having prescribed qualifications shall, notwithstanding such employment, be deemed to be in practice for the limited purpose of the training of articled assistants. Pursuant to section 2 subsection 2 clause 4 above, the council has passed resolution permitting a chartered accountant in practice to render the entire range of management, consultancy and other services. The expression management, consultancy and other services shall not include the function of statutory or periodical audit, tax, both direct taxes and indirect taxes, representation or advice concerning tax matters, or acting as a liquidator, trustee, executor, administrator, arbitrator or receiver, but shall include the following: financial management planning, capital structure planning, working capital management, preparing project reports and feasibility studies, preparing cash budget, cash flow statements, profitability statements, statements of sources and application of funds, budgeting including capital budgets and revenue budgets, inventory management, material handling and storage, market research, demand studies, price fixation, other management decisions, management accounting systems, cost control, value analysis, control methods and management information and reporting, personal recruitment and selection, setting up executive incentive plans, wage incentive plans, management and operational audits, valuation of shares and business and advice regarding amalgamation, merger and acquisition, business policy, corporate planning, organization development, growth and diversification, organization structure and behavior, development of human resources, including design and conduct of training programs, work study, job description, job evaluation and evaluation of workloads, systems analysis and design and computer related services, including selection of hardware and development of software in all areas of service which can otherwise be rendered by a chartered accountant in practice, and also to carry out any other professional services relating to EDP, acting as advisor or consultant to an issue, including such matter as drafting of prospectus, preparation of publicity budgets, regarding arrangements for selection of ad media, centers for holding conference, brokers, investors, bankers to issue, collection center, brokers to issue, underwriters and underwriting arrangement, distribution of publicity and issue material, including application form, prospectus and brochure, and deciding on the quantum of issue material. In doing so, the relevant provisions of the Code of Ethics must be kept in mind. Active advice regarding selection of various agencies connected with issue, namely registrars to issue, printers and advertising agencies. Advice on the post-issue activities, example, follow-up steps which include listing of instruments and dispatch of certificates and refunds with various agencies connected with the work. For removal of doubts, it's hereby clarified that the activities of broking, underwriting and portfolio management are not permitted. Investment counseling in respect of securities is permitted. Acting as registrar to an issue and for transfer of shares and other securities is permitted. Quality audit, environment audit, energy audit. Acting as recovery consultant in insurance financial advisory services under the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority Act. Acting as insolvency professional. Administrative services incorporate pursuant to a decision of council at its 388th meeting. Administrative services involving assisting clients with routine or mechanical tasks within the normal course of operations. Such services require little to no professional judgment and are very clerical in nature, and so it's allowed. Okay. So examples of administrative services include word processing, preparing administrative or statutory forms for client approval, submitting such forms as instructed by the client, monitoring the statutory filing dates, and advising a client, advising an audit client of those dates. For example, the functions of a GST practitioner as specified under Rule 83, Sub-Rule 8 of Central Goods and Services Tax Rules 2017. Furnish the details of outward and inward supplies. Furnish monthly, quarterly, annual or final return. Make deposit for credit into the electronic cash ledger. File a claim for refund. File an application for amendment or cancellation of registration. Furnish the information for generation of e-way bill. Furnish details of challan in form GST ITC 04. File an application for amendment or cancellation of enrollment under Rule 58, and file an intimation to pay tax under the composition scheme or withdraw from the said scheme. Pursuant to Section 2, Subsection 2, Section 2, Subsection 2 and Clause 4 of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, read with Regulation 191 of the Chartered Accountants Regulations 1988, a member shall be deemed to be in practice if he in his professional capacity and neither in his personal capacity nor in his capacity as an employee acts as a liquidator, trustee, executor, administrator, arbitrator, receiver, advisor, or representative for costing, financial or taxation matters, or takes up an appointment made by the central government or a state government or a court of law or any other legal authority, or acts as a secretary under his employment is on a salary come full-time basis. It is necessary to note that a person is deemed to be in practice not only when he is actually engaged in the practice of accountancy, but also when he offers to render the accounting services, whether or not he in fact does so. In other words, the act of setting up of an establishment offering to perform accounting services would tantamount to be in practice even though no client has been served. So it may also be noted that a member of the institute is deemed to be in practice during the period he renders the service with armed forces. The above provisions need to be correlated with the provisional section 144 of the Companies Act 2013, which prohibits an auditor of the company from rendering certain services directly or indirectly to the company or its holding company or its subsidiary company. Section 144 of the Companies Act 2013 describes certain services not to be rendered by the auditor. An auditor appointed under this act shall provide to the company only such other services as are approved by the board of directors or the audit committee as the case may be, but which shall not include any of the following services, whether such services are rendered directly or indirectly to the company or its holding company or subsidiary company, namely accounting and bookkeeping services, internal audit, design and implementation of any financial information system, actuarial services, investment advisory services, investment banking services, rendering of outsourced financial services, management services, and any other kind of services as may be prescribed. Certain services not to be rendered by the auditor as per section 144 of the Companies Act 2013 has been given here in a diagrammatic format. And then next one, companies are not to engage in accountancy. Section 25 of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949 provides that no company, whether incorporated in India or elsewhere, shall practice as chartered accountants. Here the term company shall include any limited liability partnership which has company as its partner for the purpose of this section. If any company contravenes this provision, then without prejudice to any other proceedings which may be taken against the company, every director, manager, secretary and any other officer thereof, who is knowingly party to such contravention shall be punishable with fine which may extend on first conviction to 1000 and on any subsequent conviction to 5000. In addition, as per section 141 subsection 2 of the Companies Act 2013, where a firm including an LLP is appointed as an auditor of a company, then only the partners or chartered accountants shall be authorized to sign and act on behalf of the firm. Though the LLPs are allowed to be appointed as an auditor in accordance with the Companies Act 2013, however, it cannot be engaged into practice if it has company as its partner, as per the Chartered Accountants Act 1949. Therefore, it can be inferred that LLP not having any company as its partner can be engaged into practicing and thus take audit assignments. Next heading, member in practice prohibited from using a designation other than chartered accountant. Members of the institute are now permitted to use the word CA as prefix before their name, irrespective of the fact that they are in practice or not. Under section 7 of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, a member in practice cannot use any designation other than CA, nor he can use any other description, whether in addition thereto or in substitution therefore. But a member who is not in practice and does not use the designation of the chartered accountant may use any other description. Nevertheless, a member in practice may use any other letters or description indicating shall be deemed to prohibit any such person from adding any other description or letters to his name, if entitled thereto, to membership of such other institute of accountancy, whether in India or elsewhere, as may be recognized in this behalf by the council, or any other qualification that he may possess, or to prohibit a firm, all the partners of which are members of the institute and in practice, from being known by its firm as chartered accountants, merchant banker or advisor to an issue. The members may apply for and obtain registration as category 4 merchant banker under the SEBI's rules and regulations and act as advisor or consultant to an issue. In client companies, offer documents and advertisements regarding capital issue, name and address of the chartered accountant or firm of chartered accountants acting as advisor or consultant to the issue could be indicated under the caption advisor bar consultant to the issue. However, the name and address of such chartered accountant or firm of chartered accountants should not appear prominently. Directors of companies, members of political parties, position in clubs, etc. The members of the institute who are also directors in companies, members of political parties, are chartered accountants else in the political parties holding different positions in clubs or other organization are not permitted to mention these positions, as these would be violative of the provision of section 7 of the act. Next one, members who are also cost accountants. Though a member cannot designate himself as a cost accountant, he can use the letters ACMA or FCMA after his name when he is a member of that institute. Permission to mention qualifications of certain institutions. The members are permitted to mention membership of a foreign institute of accountancy which has been registered by the council through a memorandum of understanding, mutual recognition agreement with the said institute. Other qualifications of the member. With regard to the other qualifications of a member, which he is permitted to mention, the following observation of the Supreme Court in Institute of Chartered Financial Analysts of India versus Council of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, dated 16th May 2007 is relevant. The expression any other qualification that he may possess therefore must be read as qualification other than conferred upon by the member of any other institutes of accountancy. Such qualification of accountancy may be conferred even by other institutes, such as noticed herein before, an exemption had been granted by reason of a resolution of the institute in relation to the Institute of Cost and Works Accountants. Furthermore, a degree conferred by any university also is subject to an exemption from the rigor of the provisions of Section 7 of the Act. There cannot therefore be any doubt whatsoever that other qualification would mean a qualification other than granted by Institute of Accountancy, subject of course to recognition thereof by the institute. For example, though a member cannot designate himself as a cost accountant, he can use the letters ACMA or FCMA after his name when he is a member of that institute. Next one, it's improper for a chartered accountant to state on his professional documents that he is an income tax consultant, cost accountant, company secretary, cost consultant, or a management consultant. Members are not allowed to appear before the various authorities including CLB, Income Tax Appellate Tribunal, Sales Tax Tribunal, where the law has permitted the same so far as the designation corporate lawyer is concerned. The council was of the view that as per the existing provision of law, a CA in practice is not entitled to use the designation corporate lawyer. Furthermore, I repeat the paragraph again, members are allowed to appear before the various authorities including CLB, IT, Sales Tax Tribunal, where the law has permitted the same, so far as the designation corporate lawyer is concerned. Okay, the council was of the view that as per the existing provision of law, a CA in practice is not entitled to use the designation corporate lawyer, but he can appear before the various authorities including CLB, IT, sales tax, etc. Further, the members are not permitted to use the initials CPA standing for Certified Public Accountant on their visiting cards. Members of the institute in practice who are otherwise eligible may also practice as company secretaries or cost accountants. I repeat, members of the institute in practice who are otherwise eligible may also practice as company secretaries or cost accountants. Such members shall, however, not use the designation of the aforesaid institute simultaneously with the designation chartered accountant. With this, we are finishing this episode. In the next episode, I am going to start off with maintenance of branch offices. Have a nice day. Bye.